Hey everybody, how's you guys' Saturday going? Hopefully it's going halfway decent. I wanted to talk. I got a little time here, so I finally got around. Wanted to talk about the New York Rangers and what the hell exactly happened this year. There were so many issues that went on with the New York Rangers. The difference between the 2023-2024 season and the 2024-2025 season are stark. And locker room drama between the players and the general manager, the rift, obviously, like I said, the locker room drama with, between the players and the coaching staff and everything else. And it all kind of compounded into what became. They still ended up above 500, NHL 500, but it was not a good season, especially considering they were coming into this season as a contender for the Stanley Cup. They made the conference final just last season, 2023-2024. They made the conference final. They won the President's Trophy. And I wanted to kind of take a look here at just how great of a season they had in 2023-2024. In 82 games, they had a record of 55, 23, and 4. 114 points. They had a win percentage of, let me see here. Yeah, they had a points percentage, not win percentage, points percentage. They had a 695 points percentage. That's crazy. 695. That's a fantastic season. And just, absolutely incredible. They scored 282 goals. They had 282 goals for. They had 229 goals against. They were plus 53 in goal differential. They had a home record of 30-11. 30-11, winning 30 of your 41 home games. That's tremendous. Their road record was pretty good too. They had a 25-12-4 road record. Not bad. Not bad for a team that wins the President's Trophy. They get to the conference final. They look pretty good. They were up 2-1 in that conference final. Even though, honestly, they won some of those games, but Florida just showed just how good they really were, because from that point on, Florida just steamrolled them. So we come into this year, a lot of hope, a lot of high hopes. Talk of being a contender, all that. Igor Shesterkin signs the long-term extension, the 8-year extension, so he's going to be in New York for the long term. Coming into this year, a lot of hope, a lot of they might, I can see them get back to the, not only get back to the playoffs, but potentially have a deep run. And again, I predicted my preseason division prediction. I had them winning the Metro again. Boy, how wrong I was on that. But a lot of hope coming into this season. Of course, Chris Drury, the general manager, Peter Laviolette, the head coach, and this is the coach and GM combo from just last season when they won the President's Trophy. They have a little drama this year. Barclay Goodrow, they have issues with Barclay Goodrow. They wanted to trade Barclay Goodrow, but they wanted to send him to San Jose. San Jose was on his no-trade list. So what Chris Drury found, he found a way to still end up getting him to San Jose. They just put him on waivers. And San Jose claimed him. That's how they got around the no-trade list. which that might have to be addressed in maybe the collective bargaining agreements that are coming up. I think they might have to do some finagling there, because these guys, they have the no trade lists for a reason. They have the X amount of teams that they don't want to go to. He didn't want to go to San Jose. It was on his no trade list, but they didn't want to keep it. They didn't want to keep him in New York, so they just said, "Screw it, we'll just put you on waivers then." And San Jose claimed him, so he ends up in San Jose. Not that he wanted to be there, but he's there. And they did something similar with Jacob Trouba. They wanted to trade Jacob Trouba, but he didn't want to go to necessarily the team that he ended up going to, because he didn't want to be traded across the country, because his wife was nursing school, I think, or a nursing, or a nursing resident, and so he didn't want to be traded across the country and be away from, with her being, in nursing school. So what they ended up doing there is they threatened to do the same thing to him. Now, Trouba had been rumored to be in trade discussions even during this year. When they won the President's Trophy, there was trade talk potentially. So he ends up going. Where did he end up going? Let me see here real quick. I did not. Because I forgot to look up exactly where he went. He went to... Where is he at? He is in Anaheim now. So he ended up in Anaheim. Now, he didn't want to be traded across the country like that because his wife was in school or a nursing resident. One of the two. Let me know in the comments just exactly which one. I think it's one of the two. But he didn't want to necessarily be traded across the country. Well, the Rangers threatened to do the same thing. They're like, well, we'll just put you on waivers, and Anaheim might claim you, and Anaheim might claim you. So he ends up in Anaheim. Needless to say, both of those situations caused a rift in that locker room, which I think definitely contributed to the downward spiral that they ended up having, because they got off to a pretty decent start, and then it all fell apart. It all fell apart for them, because they started out pretty darn good. They really did. And then it did. It all came crashing down. And they went from a team that was looking like they were going to be a team to be reckoned with to a team that was at one point last in the division. It was ugly. It was not a good look. And just trying to look back here, because was it in November that they were? Yeah, no. Even in November, I mean, they were 12-5-1 at one point in November. I mean, right around Thanksgiving. Yeah, right around Thanksgiving, they were 12-6-1 at Thanksgiving. So I mean, they were looking pretty good. And then it all started to fall apart. And it all kind of started with the whole thing with Gaudreau And then Trouba it ended up becoming just an unmitigated disaster. And I did a video. I did a video that's up on the channel talking about the New York Rangers and the slump they went into. And that was one of the big reasons why, was because the players did not like how Barclay Goodrow was treated, and they did not like how their captain, Jacob Trouba, was treated. And then, of course, as they're going through that, you find out Peter Laviolette, the head coach, he didn't even go in the locker rooms. He wouldn't even go to the locker rooms after games. And it's like, what are you doing here? And it's just it's crazy. Because you go from being 55, 23, and 4, 114 points in the year they win the President's Trophy, to this year, in 82 games, 39, 36, and 7, 85 points. A 29-point drop. A 518 points percentage. They scored 256 goals. They had 255 goals against, so they had a +1 in goal differential. Their home record, 19-19-3. Their road record, 20-17-4. So they were a little better on the road than they were at home. But the drama is what really sent this team spiraling. I mean, a 29-point drop, a team that was expected to be a cup contender again this year. And it's interesting because the players were not real happy with the office, Chris Drury. You know, you could call him the office. He gets a multi-year extension. He got a multi-year extension. So obviously, James Dolan and the higher-ups in the Rangers organization, they obviously like Chris Drury. They like apparently what he's doing because they extended him. A multi-year extension. Peter Laviolette, out, fired. They had no problem firing. They had no problem getting rid of him. And it's interesting. 2 years, that's all he got. Two seasons. First season, led him to this, President's Trophy, 2 wins away from the Stanley Cup final. So this year, everything just implodes. And what do you normally do? Who's normally the fall guy? The head coach. And that's exactly what ended up happening. Is they fired Laviolette. We're not sure, who the long-term coach is going to be for next year. We're not quite sure, but yeah. And of course, you've got guys like Kreider, Zibanejad, Keandre Miller, the guys that have been there for a long time. What is their future? What's their future with the team? Is Kreider going to be around next year? I don't know. What about Mika Zibanejad? Neither one of them had the greatest season this year, but they still are very, very productive players. What do the Rangers do with them? Do they keep them around? I think Zibanejad, I believe, is still under contract for a little bit. Let me see here. Let's see if I can find. Okay, Mika Zibanejad. Oh, yeah. Zibanejad potentially is going to be there for a while. Zibanejad is signed $8.5 million per till 2030. So I can't see Zibanejad going anywhere. If he does go somewhere, the Rangers are probably going to have to eat up a good chunk of that salary. Chris Kreider, on the other hand, I could see. Now, see, Chris Kreider, he has a 15-team no trade list, which I'm looking on Puckpedia for this. Kreider is up. He's a UFA in 2027-28. Could the Rangers trade that? Yeah, possibly. But again, it's a 15-team no trade list. However, as we've seen, they have a way that they can get around those no trade lists. Now, granted, Kreider is still under contract for another 3 years. And it's interesting, Zibanejad, looking at Zibanejad has a complete no movement clause. So the only way that he can be moved is by giving consent to trade to waive his no trade list, his no movement clause. Would Zibanejad do that? Like I said, he's going to be there he's still under contract for a while. He's not a UFA until 2030. So yeah, he's still got 4 years left on that current deal that pays him $8.5 million a year. Is he an $8.5 million player right now? Not really. I mean, obviously Chris Kreider is not, he's getting 6.5 per until 27-28. Is he a $6.5 million player? Not really. At least not with the production that they're given. So I don't know. I don't know what they do. I don't know what they do with those guys. And I mean, right now too, you look at their former first round number 1 overall pick, Alexis Lafreniere. Lafreniere's new deal goes into effect next year. And he has that deal until 2032. That's $7.45 million. Lafreniere, is he worth that? I don't know. He's still young. He's still young enough. But I mean, is he going to be that first round, that awesome first round number 1 overall draft pick that they thought they were getting? Probably not. But the Rangers have got some things to figure out. Chris Drury has got some things to figure out. And he's going to be there for a while. So he's got to figure out, what is he going to do? Also, too, you've got Artemi Panarin. His contract is up in 26-27. Granted, that's still a couple years away. But what do you do with that potentially the next couple years? I don't know. The Rangers have definitely got some things to figure out. And they got to try and figure out how to get back to this. To get back into President's Trophy area, playoff contender area, instead of this past season. I mean, to go from 55 wins to 39, to have a 29-point drop overall, yeah, it's not good. Especially when you just sign your goaltender, your star goaltender, to the massive extension, and that kicks in, and that contract kicks in next season, 2025-26. And he is making 11.5 till 2033. So the Rangers definitely got some things to figure out. What do you think they do? Do they try and make some moves in the offseason? Do they trade Kreider? Do they find a way to trade Kreider in the offseason? Do they find a way to do they talk Mika Zibanejad into waiving his no movement clause? What do you do? Or do you just go and say, well, we don't care about your no movement clause or your no trade clause, so we're just going to put you on waivers and see what happens. What do you think happens? I'm kind of curious. I'm kind of curious what you guys think, because I really don't know. I'm not sure what they do. I'm not sure what they do to fix the issues that they had this season. Are they able to get that stuff fixed for next season? I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Let me know your opinions. Hit the like button. Smash that like button. That would be absolutely incredible. The algorithm's kind of like that. Also, too, hit that subscribe button. Algorithm's kind of like that, too. And, share the video. Share this video with everybody that you know. Any video on the channel, if you feel like sharing any of the videos with everybody that you know, go ahead and do that. Let people know about the channel. If you have friends or family that love hockey like I do, like you guys out there do, let them know about the channel. I would love to have every hockey fan in the world. I would love to have you all join me here on the channel. That would be absolutely fabulous. And again, hit that little notification bell. That will notify you anytime future videos of mine are uploaded. And yeah, just give me your thoughts. What do the Rangers do? What do they do this off season to hopefully get back to this? To get back to President's Trophy form, to potentially be a playoff team for 2025-26. What do they do? Who do they trade? Who do they waive? What do you think they do? Let me know in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, share. I will see you guys later.